Welcome back, comrades. This is Gaming with Austin. And today, we are on episode 38 of the Utopian Community series. Today, we're going to continue on with closing in the floors. Like, I'm doing this to make it a little easier. One thing, if you're a fan of The Simpsons, there's some great news. The Simpsons has been renewed for seasons 31 and 32. Which means The Simpsons should go on. I believe that Simpsons should keep going on. When you, here's a tip for to optimize your health. Eating meat, dairy, or eggs is literally a heart attack waiting to happen. It is literally a heart attack waiting to happen. whether the meat is cooked or not. It doesn't matter if it's cooked. Which is why the number of vegans around the world is growing. To explain why humans are greedy, back in the Stone Age, it was only the strongest that survived, which meant that those who were not as competitive were just left to die. It's not just humans who are not as competitive that were just left to die. Every animal tends to be like that sometimes. Which probably explains our greedy behaviors. Being greedy was once useful for your survival. It's no longer useful. If you're a cat, you cannot care about animals at all. Because your physiology does not allow that. In fact, if you're a cat, you have to eat meat, or else you're gonna die. Because for cats, for them, their utmost importance is their survival. For us humans, like, in a communist society, the utmost importance is not only the survival of the human race, but in my interpretation, it's not just the survival of the human race that is of utmost importance. The other thing that is of utmost importance is the end to all suffering for every animal. And to let nature take the course when it goes to population control. Let nature take the course. I know a way how we could stop greed. We could tame it. We could just tame it. Education can control it, if it's done right. The problem with breeding house cats to be really huge is that they are vicious killers. They try to go after humans. Which is why you should never have a tiger as a pet. They are vicious killers, too. I get that. But if a vicious killer is small, you're fine to have that animal. You're good to have that animal. If your house has a chimney, get a cat. Because birds can come into your house through the chimney. In And food addiction is more of a physiological addiction. Because some people have a greater need for food than others. Because not all people can survive on the same amount of food. Because some people who go on 1,000 calorie diets can literally die from malnutrition pretty easily. But some people can survive on it. Like me. Because during the Irish potato famine, if my ancestors would have had a higher, faster metabolism during that time in Ireland, I wouldn't be here. If we successfully eradicate every pathogen that is making us sick, one of the problems it might cause would be the collapse of the ecosystem. Yet we still have to control the pathogen population too. There'd be another factor you gotta go into account when it goes... Like, there are other diseases out there that kill children that is not caused by pathogens. It's caused by factors that are well beyond our control, like genetics. Or DNA damage. That is transgenerational. There's also predation that has to be taken into account. Like, which predators take down prey. When there's an ecosystem collapse, there will almost always be a societal collapse, too. And that's how cats are secretly keeping us alive. Because their prey tend to be carriers of a lot of deadly diseases. Like bird flu. Or the bubonic plague. Our utmost importance is our survival. Of not only the individual, but the entire species. We should just leave all the wild animals alone, and let nature take the course. I get that we should domesticate animals, but not all animals can be domesticated. Because certain requirements must be met in order for it to be suitable for domestication. It must be willing to breed in captivity. Must be willing to be bred in captivity. Which means, even though the Egyptians had cheetahs as their prized possessions, they don't do well in breeding in captivity. They must reach sexual maturity at a relatively young age compared to humans. Like, they must be willing to be bred in captivity. They must reach sexual maturity at a relatively young age. Their food must be easily available for them. It's another factor. Their food source must be readily available, which means rats tend to live in human settlements. And cats were able to make themselves more useful for humans. The fourth factor, which means that, readily available, that means they have to they must be able to survive on human scraps. The fourth factor that affects domestication is most of the animals must conform to a hierarchy. Like lower in the hierarchy compared to humans, usually. Usually they have to conform to an interspecific hierarchy. What animals are exempt from the conforming to a hierarchy? Cats. The fifth factor what are the factors affecting domestication? What are the requirements that need to be met before domestication? The fifth factor is that animals must be good around must be respectful to humans. Which means the animals must be docile. The animal must not have a strong tendency to panic and flee when startled. Which means most... Want to know what can startle deer and gazelles? Loud noises. Most domesticated animals are subject to domestication have to conform to an interspecific hierarchy. The hierarchy that is required for domestication is an interspecific hierarchy, meaning between species. And predators tend to be higher up in the social hierarchy compared to prey, which means prey animals have it really easy. And cats, their source of food within human settlements, is usually readily available because they hunt birds, they hunt mice, they hunt rabbits. They hunt other rodents too, like hamsters. Squirrels, and chipmunks. We humans... can sort of domesticate ourselves. One thing we can do is genetically modify humans to not be as competitive. When it goes to natural resources. How are cats so useful? And cats were able to domesticate themselves. They meet 5 out of the 6 requirements. Most insects would be suitable for domestication. Literally. We humans can breed in captivity. Because in some cultures, people actually do eat bugs. I know this sounds really disgusting, but some people do eat bugs. There's the reason why only animals that reach maturity quickly relative to the human lifespan are worth considering. So we don't want to waste our time feeding and caring for an animal before it grows large enough. Unless we do a bit of selective breeding. Unless we do a bit of selective breeding, where we breed only the largest animals. Out of the litter. By nature, we're supposed to be free to travel anywhere. It's our natural instinct. I get that. The reason why... there are certain instincts we need to follow to survive. There are certain instincts we don't need to follow. Greed is one of those instincts we don't need. unless it's an absolute emergency. Like there's not enough food. And too many people and not enough food. Once I cover up this area right there, it'd be the end of the video. But before I go, before the end of the episode, don't forget to leave a like if you liked this video, dislike if you disliked it, subscribe for more, share this with your comrades on social media. As always, thank you for watching, stay tuned for more, and peace out. Like, after this, share this with your comrades on Facebook, Instagram, Twitter. As always, thank you for watching, stay tuned for more, and peace out.